So I've got some bad news. I haven't seen Don since the Richmond trip that this episode is about. This is going to sound weird, but I'm afraid he might have been assimilated. He was saying all this stuff about wanting to be part of something bigger and then something about a hive mind. And then the last time I saw him, he was wearing an LED eye patch that he got off Amazon. It was weird. Anyway, I just want to say, Don, if you hear this, if you're still in there, please come back. We miss you. And I need your help editing the next episode, like soon, okay? This is part 1 of our recent arcade trip to the Richmond Pinball Collective. Next week will be part 2. Duh.
Let's go! Let's go!
Come on in.
Welcome to the Theater of Magic.
Welcome to the party zone. Welcome to my home.
Welcome to the bash.
Wait, so what the heck? Why how did you meet this guy that you're why did we
go to Richmond?
Why did we go to Richmond? I mean, that was so random, right? Like, what was the
so I had decided to ditch all of my coffee gear.
Why?
Cuz it's a lot and I wasn't using everything. And
real quick, a lot in the sense that you have a lot invested or a lot of stuff?
It's both. Yeah, like I've acquired a lot of coffee gear and I need to get rid of a lot of it because I'm not using a lot of it anymore, basically.
So you love coffee.
Yeah, I'm a big coffee guy.
Coffee's your favorite food?
Favorite beverage, for sure. Maybe favorite food overall.
I mean, you could eat it.
Yeah, you can eat it. You can eat some beans.
Yeah, I do it all the time. Trader Joe's has those
edible. The chocolate covered coffee beans.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been into coffee for most of my adult life and some of my not adult life.
So then you acquired some equipment to do this next level coffee operation at your house, and then you're now
I have a machine that graphs your coffee. It has like a tablet built in, and it like graphs the flow rate and water usage and pressure and variables that it's ridiculous. And I'm not enough of a like tweaker of things, so I just basically leave it on the same settings all the time, and it's just going to waste. Someone else could be using this absurd coffee equipment better than I.
So the new thing that you're buying is replacing that machine, and it's basically
replacing that machine and another machine that I just never got rid of. Basically 2 large espresso machines that are taking up an inordinate amount of space. And I'm going to replace both of them with one very small machine. And so anyways, the one that I want to get is like hard to find. You can't get a new one for like 9 months. So a friend of mine found one in Richmond for sale. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to drive all like 2.5 hours to go pick this thing up, until I realized that there's an arcade in Richmond. And then it started to make sense, because if I can play pinball somewhere, that's a great excuse.
That is the best excuse.
Yeah. What better? So, it was like a twofer, because I knew about this place, but I'd never been there.
You know what's funny is that I realized that too recently, that's pretty much the second thing I do when I make travel plans.
Yeah.
Like I look at, okay, where am I going to stay?
Yeah.
Who's going to be there? Where is pinball?
Yeah, exactly.
¿A dónde están las máquinas de pinball?
Yeah, it can make a trip or not for me. Like, that was the deciding factor whether I was going to go pick this thing up, is that I could go play pinball too.
Right. So I'd never even heard of this place, right?
Yeah.
Richmond Pinball Collective?
Correct.
The first thing I noticed, right, that got me excited, because I was also trying to figure out plans and stuff, I'm working, and like, I don't know, I was actually going to be working on some editing and stuff, and I was considering not going.
Yeah.
Right. And then I looked up the game list.
Yeah.
Well, you sent me the game list, and then you sent it to me while I was looking it up as well.
Yeah.
And I noticed they had a ton of games that I've been wanting to play for a very long time.
Yeah.
Older games.
Yep. They don't just have new Stearns and Jersey Jacks like our local place.
Yeah. And then the kicker, which made me go, hell yeah. One-time payment.
Oh, yeah.
Free play. Free play model.
Yep.
Pay one time. I guess you have to be a member of the club technically, but you can come in as a guest.
Yep.
How many times? It was like
3 times a year.
3 times a year. Yeah, 3 times a year. I don't know if there's a police.
Yeah, I don't know if it's actually being policed, but yeah, because they're technically a private club, there's some I don't know, rules and ordinances or something about how many times non-members can attend a private club. But it was like $15, right? For unlimited for the day. I think they were open 1 to 7, and we were pretty much there from 1 to 7.
Pretty much the whole time.
Yeah, I think the membership was like something around $35 a month or something. So if we lived, I don't know, any closer than we do, that would be a definite no-brainer, and maybe even still a no-brainer, like living 2.5 hours away, because this is pretty great.
Yeah, I would be there all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the perfect way to learn games and kind of refine what games you like and what games you don't like, you know, because you don't have to focus and stress on every game you play. You're basically losing $1. Like, for me, it's like,
yeah,
you know, when I go to the local arcades, every time a ball drains, I'm like, oh, crap, it's like 33.33333 cents,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, like, we can easily spend $35 in a day when you're playing $1 a game and the games are set up bad and, and they're broken, and it's like half your money like doesn't even buy you pinball, just buys you like a ball stuck in a scoop that doesn't work.
Yep. A beer belly and some disappointment.
Yeah. But yeah, it was Don drove.
I didn't know if my car was going to make it.
Yeah, we were both having some car issues.
I've been very neglectful. I'm sorry, Camry. Since I've moved closer to work, I drive maybe a mile a week. Literally. No, I'm kidding. Maybe like 3 or 4 literal miles a week. But so I've just been kind of enjoying that, not having to drive. But my poor car is kind of getting left behind, you know, in terms of priorities.
You know, it's always funny to me, by the way, speaking of your car, when I get to the workshop and your car is not parked at your house, but it's parked at the workshop 40 feet away, I'm like, did he drive to work when he could have walked there in probably less time than it took to drive?
It takes me, my commute is 30 seconds walking. Driving is about 45 seconds.
Okay.
You know, sometimes I do drive to work. Yes. Typically it is, you know, when I have other things planned or when I need to leave work right away.
You got to save that extra 4 seconds.
15 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
maybe you just want to listen to the first 30 seconds of a song in your car.
I have.
Yeah.
I have. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much it. I got a really tough life.
And now for a word from our sponsor.
The new car. It is based on what your driving needs are today and what they will be in the future. The new car. It is designed to move people in comfort and with unrivaled efficiency. The new car, the Honda Civic CRX.
And now, back to the show.
Yeah, so this place is actually a little bit hard to find because they don't have a very big sign out front, which kind of checks out because they're not, you know, it's a private club. They don't necessarily need to advertise or like have a big flashy sign to draw people in.
Yeah, I had to do a semi-illegal maneuver. So in order to not have to drive a couple miles and then do a U-turn, I literally just did some illegal maneuvering.
Yeah.
With the hope that it was here, you know, because we hadn't seen it yet. We drove in, kind of drove around the parking lot. There was
it's not, so it wasn't like near downtown Richmond or anything. I think we had to drive about 15 minutes from downtown, which is where I was picking up the espresso machine.
Yeah. It was actually not too far. It was, 15 minutes sounds about right.
But yeah, it's like a little retail strip mall kind of center.
The sign was cool.
Yeah, we did discover that they had a cool like neon sign in the window.
Look for the window.
Yeah, look for the window with the big neon sign. Yeah, and trust Google Maps. It is where it says it is.
If it tells you to turn right, turn right.
So we went in there. They've got like a front desk, paid our $15, and they have like some snacks and they have like a drink cooler.
Yeah, they had a little fridge too with a couple local breweries beer selection, which is pretty cool. I had a bingo lager. It was delicious. I enjoyed drinking a local beer at a local pinball collective.
You will be assimilated.
Yeah, so the collective part of it.
Resistance is futile.
It's like volunteer run, and it's a nonprofit.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We talked to Sam.
I think he was an off-duty volunteer who was playing. Yeah.
I think he was just hanging out.
Yeah.
But I guess he was a part of the quote-unquote collective / volunteer.
You will be assimilated.
And Dale. And the first thing I noticed was, I don't know, just super cool guys. They're just super helpful. You guys need anything, any questions? And we kind of chat them up a little bit because we were curious about just the space, like the place in general, the whole collective concept.
Resistance is futile.
How it worked, the structure of, the...
How can we steal this idea?
Right. But yeah, they're super cool, man. I really enjoyed meeting those guys. We took a picture. Thanks, guys, for hosting, and super nice to meet you.
Yeah, we got some games in with Sam.
Gorgar. You made a comment that I think that's the moment you learn to nudge.
Like on another level.
Yeah. Sam is a pro nudger.
Yeah, Sam has a delicate touch.
Delicate nudge.
All right, so now we're debuting a new segment that you've never heard before called Don's 10-second reviews. This is nothing like Matt's 10-second reviews, which you heard before. This is going to be a totally different thing with Don instead of Matt.
Welcome to Don's 10-second reviews.
Masterpiece Theatre is made possible by a grant from Mobile Corporation, which invites you to join with them in supporting your local public television station.
So Don,
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
10-second review.
I'm ready.
Williams Scorpion.
I don't know anything technical about it. I don't know who designed it. I don't know anything about anything except for the fact that it was orange. It was fun. It has dragons, not scorpions. I'm a Scorpio. Loved it. Thanks, Dale, for the recommendation. We'll play again. Need to play again.
Yeah, I think there's like a battleship named Scorpion, but the main thing on the playfield is the dragons. Okay, 10-second review. Dirty Harry, also known as Geraldo Sucio.
Geraldo Sucio. This is my first time comprehensively playing that game that actually was set up and played right. Freaking love it. Okay, I freaking love that game. I don't know what else to say about it. I mean,
Barrio.
I wish I could have shot more people. I wish that I just wish I had more time on it.
Yeah.
Geraldo Sucio. I think, by the way, that's my favorite. That's a Williams.
Yep.
It's got to be up there with one of my favorite Williams games.
Okay. It just in your brief time, you've
correct
made that assessment.
Correct.
Okay. All right. 10-second review. NBA Fast Break.
NBA Fast Break. Easily, immediately knew it was like a top 7 game for me. It's nostalgic. I used to love basketball. I used to love the Dream Team. It's fun, fast. George Gomez is the GOAT. I like the low scoring and the crazy call-outs. I like the little back glass flipper that you hit the little ball into the thing. That's like a separate little game. NBA Fast Break is going to fastly break my bank because if one comes up for sale close to the New Jersey, I'm going to buy it.
Okay. 10-second review. Game of Thrones Pro Edition.
Meh.
Still weren't feeling it.
Meh.
Okay.
Which I love Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Meh.
I do like the Pro better than the Premium. I had a good game on it.
Meh.
Okay. 10-second review. Williams Hurricane.
That's the Ferris wheel carnival.
Yeah.
Python Angelo. Crazy motherfucker.
Yeah.
Super fun. It was, when I played it, I felt like this was the beginning of the modern games, the way that it felt, right?
For one of the first WPC games, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't know that. It very much felt like a modern pinball that I've grown to love, and that's what I started playing. I like the little Ferris wheel. I like the clowns holding the flippers that are the drum.
Yeah.
I like the 3D elements / you are in the playfield world situation with the carnival theme. And I still don't really understand Hurricane. I guess it's the name of the roller coaster.
Yeah.
Probably more Roller Coaster Tycoon than Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Yeah. Oh, 10-second review. F-14 Tomcat.
F-14 Tomcat. Fast.
Yeah.
Fast. Ramps.
There's no ramps.
Oh, whatever.
Returns. It has a lot of returns.
Yeah, there you go. A lot of wire forms.
There's wire forms everywhere, but no ramps.
That's what I meant. Wire forms. A lot of wire forms.
It's harder to say that fast.
Wire forms. Wire forms. Wire forms.
Nailed it. All right. Yeah, that game was fun.
It was a ton of fun. There really weren't no ramps in that game?
No ramps in that game. None.
How do you get the ball up there?
It locks them. It like different shots will shoot them into the little thing that shoots it up the wire form.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense because airplanes are already in the air. You gotta shoot it up there. You can't just ramp up.
I guess that
you're a fast plane. You're an F-14 Tomcat. You gotta already be in the air.
That game was awesome. I want that game now. Okay. I think I've... Oh, one more. Totally forgot this one. This is a big one. 10-second review, No Fear.
No Fear. Yeah. Really fun game.
Yeah.
No Fear was fast. I wasn't scared. That ramp shot was tough. I gotta play it more.
Yeah. Callouts were fun. Music's fun.
That's the first No Fear based product that I've liked.
you didn't wear the shirts back in the day?
Nah.
Yeah, me either.
Nah.
I was too afraid.
Yeah.
And now for an important message.
I'll never learn to ski.
Especially if you quit trying.
Scarlet!
You'll never win if you give in.
But I just can't do it!
Can you ride a bike?
Well, sure I can.
But could you at first?
No, I had to practice for weeks. I think I'm getting the hang of it!
That's because you hung in there!
Now I know!
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe!
And now, back to the show.
I personally, I'm a really big fan of the collective idea.
Yeah.
They explain that the members of the collective also own the machines.
Yeah.
And they'll have tournaments, they'll have events, they have days where they work on each other's machines, or they work together on machines.
Yeah.
You kind of have a log of issues and repairs. And if you have time one day, while you're on volunteer duty, you can, here's a problem I can fix real quick. And you can kind of take care of it. Freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I love that idea. I think that for me, the first thing I think of is, wow, I have two games, right?
Mm-hmm.
2.5, hopefully 3. But it kind of opens up the door. It's basically what you and I are doing.
Yeah.
We're basically sharing games in a way.
Yeah.
But you're kind of opening up the door for more people, more games, more community, more events, just more interest, more pinball.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. Like I love that. If I have a question about something, if I need a part, maybe you have it, maybe Dale has it, maybe Sam, maybe somebody,
Yeah.
And it's the idea of having everyone together in one space, whether it be at the same time or just in passing as you're helping or just hanging out one day. I think that's much needed, especially here locally, because it seems to be more barcade, beer, capitalist, consumer based instead of community and
right.
For the love of pinball based. Right?
Yeah,
So-
it's like our local community is like trying to exist in spite of all of these barriers and like issues, and it's a struggle.
It is. Mainly because the games, I think, are being neglected. You like to say it kind of does a disservice for pinball.
Yeah.
And I agree, because a lot of new players, a lot of people that haven't played much, play the games and it's not really fun, right?
Right.
So how do you get into pinball when you're not having fun?
Right. That issue makes me think of why didn't I ever get into pinball until fairly recently. It's because every time I ever tried to play it, I was like, why would I waste my money on this?
Because it's expensive.
It's expensive.
Relative.
The games last 10 seconds if you're bad at it.
Yeah.
And and then they don't work. And you don't hear them. And so it's such a bad experience.
It's like 4 or 5 strikes.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much going against just the average person getting into pinball that it just seems impossible.
Yeah.
And we see it all the time. Like when we're at an arcade, we see people like actually trying to get into these games. And they're so frustrated.
Yeah.
And, part of that is because they're inexperienced, but a lot of it is also because the games are set up kind of aggressively steep and the slings are set super fast and just all these things. It's like, why?
I hate that, man. Just recently when we played Godzilla over at Baxter,
yeah,
I saw a young couple, I guess, younger, maybe like 19 or maybe the early 20s.
Yeah.
Really interested, eyeballing the games, going up to the games, finally put some money in.
Was that the guy, the German guy with the crazy mullet?
I don't remember. It might have, it was a group of 4 kids, kind of.
I think so, yeah.
But they were, I don't know, I think I heard him say a comment of oh yeah, I really like these things, and I think they were playing Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And which it's not 100% functional.
Right.
And I could just see, I could see the excitement just slowly dissipating.
Yeah.
And then just walk away,
Yeah,
at
it's
ball.
Well, never mind.
Ball 2.5, right? Just walk away.
Yeah.
It's a bummer, because it's a bummer. Maybe theoretically, if the game was set up right, it was working, everything was fine, they would have stayed, enjoyed it, become pinball converts. Who knows?
Yeah, there's just too much going against in the average arcade around here.
Yeah,
it's extremely difficult to get into, I think.
Which the Richmond Pinball Collective, right? It's one of the few times I can remember actually being able to hear the games.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And not feeling overcrowded because it wasn't very crowded.
Yeah,
wasn't super loud in general. The ambient noise was not that loud. The music, there was no music.
Yeah, I think they said on certain night, Friday nights or Saturday nights or something, they pump up the jams a little bit.
Which I can't imagine it's that loud.
Yeah.
I
think it's still probably nothing compared to our local spot.
Dude, yeah, we clocked in at, I clocked in over 90 dB one time when I was over there.
Yeah.
Which is basically any prolonged exposure after what,
80.
Yeah, you're causing permanent ear damage.
Yeah.
Hearing damage.
Yeah, it was carpeted. They had drop ceiling, kind of somewhat acoustic materials. And it sounded normal. In there and not aggressively loud or anything. And there was, a decent number of people there most of the time.
Yeah.
There was games going, but you could hear it. You could hear them. It was nice.
It was great.
And also, the games were set up well.
They were set up great.
Amazingly well. The best of anywhere that I've ever played.
Wow, that's a strong endorsement.
Yeah, and this was hands down the best pinball experience that I've had. Every other place I've been, Flippers, okay? Flippers in Raleigh.
Gas station.
Not Raleigh. Yeah, Flippers in
it's
on the Outer Banks.
Outer Banks, yeah, North Carolina.
I think it's I don't know if it's Corolla. It's it's near Kitty Hawk. It's on the Outer Banks. It's a great arcade. It's more of a traditional arcade.
Tons of games, right? 80 or something?
Yeah, they hover around 80 games.
Yeah.
It's a great place to play pinball.
I've been wanting to go there for a very long, since I moved up here, I've been wanting to go to Flippers.
I think I've been there 3 times now.
I remember the first time when I first joined Pinside.
Yeah.
And I found the pin map. You could sort by location and size and how many games. And that was the only one that had over 50 games.
Yeah.
And I was shook. Okay, I was shook because I didn't realize there was a place nearby that had. Yeah, it was always this place called Tomato Jake's. It had an avatar in by South Point in Durham that I would go to, or these one-offs because I didn't know, man. I didn't know about Pinside. I didn't know about this stuff. I just on location where I would see one, I would go play it, right?
Yeah. Flippers was the best place to play pinball in the state, but it's still a solid 4-hour drive for us.
Yeah, it's pretty far. But the setups, right? They
were good, but still not anywhere as good as Richmond Pinball Collective. They had a huge variety. I think they had roughly 40 machines, which is a lot. That's a lot. And
especially when they all play pretty well. Great.
The Terminator 2 was down, and one of the flippers wasn't working. Other than that, everything we played worked.
I cannot think of a single other issue that I experienced while I was there.
Yeah, everything worked, and not only worked, but was set up correctly, not tilted to one side. You could hear them. They played right. They seemed like the flipper rubbers had been maintained and changed. They seemed clean.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, what? You could play early 80s and late 70s games that actually played like they were kind of fresh,
Yeah, it was pretty awesome, actually.
First time I've experienced that. Yeah, mind blown.
Mind blowing.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to part 1. Part 2, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of games, more of Don's not quite anywhere near 10-second reviews, and we might introduce our new podcast producer. I'm going to be out of town this week, and Don's going to finish editing part 2. Thanks, Don. I mean, assuming he's able to break free of the hive mind. And one last thing, never forget.
You will be assimilated. Leave this territory now. Return to your home.
Evacuate all personnel.